Hey everybody, Texas Trucker here, Lance's Performance Shop at LoneStarMopars.com. Now that I've got your attention with that introductory clip, we're going to jump in here. I am going to try to keep this short, at least by my standards. We've got the 408 Magnum on the dyno in this video, obviously. Last week, if you missed it, part 18 of the Ram Revival, we revealed the 408 Magnum. We covered how we wound up going that route, what our goals are for the truck, pretty much anything and everything you'd want to know about my history with 318s being stroked 390s and 360s being stroked 408. This is a 408 Magnum. Just a really quick rundown on it. Obviously, 5.9 base block. It's now a 408. Crank and rods were from Eagle. Pretty much everything in the valve train was from Comp. Cylinder heads, Edelbrock. Intake, Hughes / Edelbrock, if you will. We'll reveal more of like the fuel injection specific stuff at a later date and time. Pretty much everything important fastener wise in the engine was going to be from ARP. Pistons are beautiful, they're from Racetech, and that's about it. The machine work was done by D&L Automotive Machine and Race Engines. This is the second 408 I've had them build, obviously the first one being in the Duster. And keep in mind here, the goals were not crazy. This was kind of this was nearly just, let's put freeze plugs, a water pump, and maybe inspect the 5.2 Magnum. And somehow things snowball, and it's a 408 now. So basically, I'm not building a pre-runner. I'm not jumping sand dunes. I'm not racing in the Baja. We're not going through, riverbeds. We're not going to go rock crawling. We can if we want to, but that's not like the goal. That's not the purpose of the truck. Essentially, this is just an enhanced version of what Dodge delivered in the 2001 model year, if you will. Call it a, proper SST, an RT, an SRT, whatever you want to call it. This is just my version of what could have been back in the day that I would have built if I had the money back then or the need to. But for me, the truck is still basically going to serve as a daily driver. It'll be my only truck. If I need to haul or tow, it's what I drive. If there's inclement weather, hopefully I'm in it. I'm not stuck in some rear-wheel drive car. If I do have to go off-road, for whatever purpose, that's the truck. So dual purpose, dual utility, not trying to set the world on fire, not trying to go auto-crossing. We're not trying to run a 10-second quarter mile on a fully, equipped 2001 Dodge Ram quad cab. Just a spiced up daily driver, if you will. And I do believe we achieved those goals. What I'm going to do here, true story on the dyno day, Saturday, July 11th. It was really, really hot. I believe we were pushing like 100 to 108 that day. That's about the time we were dynoing, by the way. Subtle differences you'll notice from this motor to the iteration that will be installed in the truck. Obviously, the headers on the dyno, you always have really good headers on the dyno, right? Those are circle track headers. I will be running Gibson shorties. Will we lose power with that? Probably. How much? 10 to 20 conservative estimates. I don't think it's going to be anything too crazy. Let's see, the induction side, obviously on the dyno, we had a carb on it. Will that see any change? I don't know. It very well may. But this engine, while it may not be the horsepower king, there's lots of people that have built Magnums for their Dakotas and Rams and thrown them in old A, B, and E bodies through the years that have probably hit way higher horsepower. This is a torque monster. Torque is what I want. Torque is what I needed for this build. And torque is what we got. I'm not sure that the pictures really looked good in the video. I will have pictures if you're following me on Instagram or Twitter. You don't have to follow. You can just go there and look at them. I'll just kind of release them gradually through time. But at Lone Star Mopars, you can find me Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever you prefer. But long story short, basically from like where we started charting things around 3,400 RPM, we're over 500 pound-feet of torque. And we maintain, just 500, 510, kind of depends where it is, up until just shy of 5,000. And that's kind of when your horsepower starts to take over. Essentially, this is a 500 foot-pound small block with about 450 horsepower. We honestly put forth no efforts to tune it, nothing to, like, oh, let's see if we can squeeze out a little bit more. I think we easily could have. Nothing crazy. It's not like it's going to jump 50 horsepower, but I mean, your typical dyno adjustments didn't even go for that. It was just kind of a in and out type of a deal. And, I think it's going to make for a really good ride in the truck. So I've had several of you say you're interested kind of in how it ran, how it's going to perform, how it's going to hold up with the transmission, stock drivetrain, all that stuff. We're going to figure it out. Will I have to tune it? I might not. It's right there on the fringe of maybe it's going to work with the factory equipment, maybe it won't. It's like one of those 50-50 things. You just have to throw it in, see what the computer does, see if it learns and adapts. Would it be optimized that way? Probably not, because, I mean, we're on the ragged edge. Again, lots of people have installed cams and valve train components that requires a custom tune, like, period. This, you're literally on that ragged edge. So my plan is to play it safe. I've talked to Flying Ryan. He's been tuning Magnums for a very long time, and that's probably the route we will go when that arises. But once again, crazy little 408, super underrated motor. Again, right now everybody's doing Hemi swaps. Everyone wants a Hellcat swap, and people are doing Hellcat swaps in Dakotas with an increasing frequency, by the way, if you're interested in that sort of stuff. But anyway, for all the second gen Ram folks, for the gassers, for the people maybe wrenching on a budget, you can't really justify that third gen Hemi. You can't go forced induction. You don't want to go. You don't need it. You just need torque, right? You're towing, you're pulling, you're whatever. This is a very economical build you could easily replicate. You can build something similar or even higher power levels with less expense, reusing some of your factory components. But I've rambled on enough. It's time that we get down to a few more pulls here. You're going to see one or two more pulls, and then we're going to go to one where it was a full pull. I just had the camera set up sort of on the screen. You can't see it super well, but you sort of can. And again, I'll have the pictures up for you. But 408 Magnum, 450 horsepower, 500 pound-feet of torque, basically just off idle, almost $5,000. It's going to be really fun on the street. And hopefully it's not just going to be fun with the smile factor. Hopefully it's also going to get me another 10-20 years if we get lucky, take care of things. So most importantly, for everyone that's been here since the beginning, brass freeze plugs are installed, hence what started this entire operation. So but that is it. I'm gonna let you enjoy these dyno pulls. Let me know your thoughts on it. Again, this is something you could easily replicate, easily exceed if that's what you're trying to do. But I think it's going to be a fantastic motor for the truck, and I hope you will stick around. We've got some really cool stuff going with the truck, doing some things that are crazy and over the top, some things that are basic, lots of things you can follow along with and sort of take care on your second gen Ram, and apply to whatever other vehicle it may be that you drive. But once again, a big thanks to Dallas at D&L Machine, and I hope you enjoy the Ram revival, and let's get back to the dyno.
Not sure I ever heard a 450 horse motor that just sitting there and idle like that.